All right, Fed Governor Lisa Cook, fired by Trump, fights back and says, I will not resign. What's happening here? Let's start here. We're going to leave the politics and all the criminal stuff out of this discussion today. What's happening here is she was accused of taking out 2 loans and saying that she would occupy both homes, right? So she bought one home, said she'd live in it for at least a year, and then 2 weeks later bought a second home saying that she would live in it for a year. Well, it's obviously physically impossible to live in 2 homes at once. We keep seeing, elites, shall we say, play this little game. What does it mean? Well, what it means is someone is going to put down, say, 5% to buy a home, or 3% to buy a home, or 10% to buy a home as owner occupied. And they're going to get a lower interest rate. Where if they did it as an investment, they're putting down, say, 25%, and they're getting a higher interest rate. So people do it as a workaround to put less money down and get a lower interest rate. It's not legal. It's not right. It's mortgage fraud. And what's the consequence of that? You say, no big deal. Well, here's the big deal. Investors are more likely to default when the market shifts, right? So they have to put more money down so that they don't default. If investors default, what ultimately happens, it means that, say, first-time home buyers or consumers who are going to occupy the homes end up with higher rates because the banks have to make up for their losses. So it's kind of a big deal for somebody to scam the system. Personally, I don't think elites, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, independents, or others, should be doing this. I don't think investors should be doing this. So criminal stuff aside, politics aside, I just don't like it. And, we can debate how is she innocent or guilty, but it's pretty simple. If you signed a document that says you're going to occupy a house for a year, and then 2 weeks later, you go buy another house and say the same thing, it's kind of pretty simple as to whether you did something ethically right or not. And in her case, she's deciding what our interest rates are going to be. So you have someone who is making decisions for our interest rates as consumers who's not following the same rules that you and I have to play by. So it's, I think, a concerning thing, and some examples need to be set under this scenario. Now, as far as whether or not she can be fired by a president, that's a big debate for the courts. So we're going to have to figure that out. But I do think someone, whether that's a president or an independent commission, should have the ability to hold these folks accountable when they're doing things that aren't right. What are your thoughts? Drop them below.